All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome here to the Orange County Emergency Operations Center. Joining me today, we have several persons, but I'm always honored to have Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer join us. Also, Scott Howard from Orange County Public Schools, Division Chief Laura Lee Avery, Janice Osani from the Orlando Utilities Commission, and Sally Thielen from Duke Energy. We also have the FEMA representative here, Mr. Andrew Friend. As we begin this afternoon, I want to just share with you a bit of just some housekeeping types of things. I want to remind you that Orange TV viewers can view this session live at ocfl.net/languages, because we will be translating this briefing in Spanish and Creole as we move forward this afternoon. Also, for any Spanish-speaking media that may be present, if you have any questions in Spanish, we do have the ability to translate into Spanish live with one of my special assistants, Ms. Ilia Torres. We're also joined from Public Works, Ms. Diana Almodovar, if there are any questions regarding stormwater, et cetera. And we also have the Utilities Director for Orange County here, Mr. Ed Torres, and they're all fluent in Spanish and English. We, at this time, are in the middle of our final few hours of preparing for the oncoming of Tropical Storm Nicole. At this time, we are suggesting that everyone begin to prepare their homes and businesses for the storm. Orange County currently remains under a tropical storm warning, a flood watch, and possible tornado threat overnight. Tropical Storm Nicole is expected to bring damaging high winds to our area, and rain estimates anywhere from 4 to 6 inches is the average that we should see throughout the community. However, there may be some areas that may get as much as 8 inches of rain. We could expect the tropical storm force winds to cause flying debris, trees down, and power lines down, which may create the potential for dangerous or life-threatening conditions within our community. The estimated time frame for the strongest winds at this point, based upon what we have received from the National Weather Service, is 35 to 75 miles per hour wind gusts, anywhere from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. We ask that, again, you take the storm very seriously during this period of time. We have done a lot of pre-planning at this point. We do have shelters open in Orange County. Presently, we have 2 general population shelters that's open. One is at the South Econ Recreation Center, located at the South Econ Community Park. And then we also have the West Orange Recreation Center that is open for general population. Of course, these shelters are sometimes referred to as the magic gyms that you see throughout our community. As of this afternoon, we have 26 persons who have checked in to the shelters. We also remind everyone going to the shelter that to bring your own personal supplies such as toiletries, medications, and blankets. For Orange County residents requiring special needs, however, we have another program set up. If you have special needs regarding medical needs, you can simply call 311 if you're anywhere within Orange County, and we will make arrangements to assist those. In terms of sandbags, yesterday our staff made available some 100,000 different sandbags that we gave out until around noon today. So at this time, we have had to shut down all of the sandbag distribution locations. In terms of debris and trash, I want to remind everyone that the curbside collection has stopped in unincorporated Orange County, and the landfill and transfer stations have closed and will remain closed through tomorrow. All garbage and recycling carts should be moved away from the curb and secured. Nothing should be left at the curbs tomorrow. Customers in unincorporated Orange County whose regular garbage, recycling, large items, and yard waste collection days which would have been on Thursday, will now be picked up on Friday, and Friday customers will now be picked up on Saturday of this week. The debris contractors hired to remove the debris from Hurricane Ian will be shutting down just temporarily until after the storm passes. We expect that they will mobilize again this coming Friday morning. You can find the guidelines on how to properly place your yard waste materials for regular collection when it is safe to do so by going to our website at ocfl.net/greenclean. For storm debris questions, you can also dial 311 407-836-311 or just simply dial the 311. In terms of public works, our road and drainage workers are stationing crews in the areas where flooding has been a problem in the recent past. This is being done as a precaution at this time. Those areas in the county that we have specifically targeted include the Texas and Holden area, the Lake Eleanor area, and the Rouse and Buck Roads areas. Orange County government buildings closed today at 3 p.m. for normal county services and will reopen on Friday at normal operating hours. The property appraiser's office has informed us that they will be closed through the weekend and reopening on Monday. The Orange County Controller's office notified us that they have closed as of today and tomorrow, and will plan to likely reopen on Friday. We have been in touch with our theme parks. The theme parks here in Central Florida are adjusting their hours of operation based upon the trajectory of the storm. Walt Disney World Resort will be closing their parks early, with the Magic Kingdom being the last park to close at 7 p.m. today. Universal Studios is closing their parks tonight at 5 p.m. SeaWorld Orlando and Aquatica Orlando will be closed tomorrow. Both Disney and Universal are going to monitor the storm for additional hours of operation. With that, at this time, I'm going to ask Mayor Buddy Dyer to come up, and he will certainly introduce some of the city commissioners who have joined us this afternoon from the city of Orlando. He will be followed by Mr. Scott Howard from the Orange County Public Schools, and then the power companies will have their representatives come forward. Again, we will have Ms. Janice Osani from the Orlando Utilities Commission and Sally Thalen from Duke Energy. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Dyer.
Thank you, Mayor Demings. And I first want to recognize our partner agencies that are here today, and the city and county staff and all the first responders and personnel that are working around the clock to make sure that our community is ready for whatever tropical storm Nicole brings to us. So want to recognize our two commissioners that are here, Commissioner Ortiz and Commissioner Burns. Thank you for joining us. And I know that a lot of people, especially in the city of Orlando that were around some of our lakes, are still recovering from the impacts of Hurricane Ian. And I hate that we're here today talking about another storm that's impacting our community, but that's our unfortunate reality. So we need to pivot from recovery and focus on preparing for and weathering this current storm. And I'm grateful to, as I talk to residents, that they are heeding the warnings and the businesses are doing so to get prepared. So immediately following the storm, we'll be back out to work to expedite recovery from the storm and whatever's remaining from Ian. I want to give you a quick update on some of the city operations. We've declared a state of emergency, which helps us get ready and able to respond as a municipal government. Our Emergency Operations Center will go to level 1, which is full activation at 6 p.m. tonight. All non-essential City of Orlando offices, including City Hall, will be closed tomorrow. That includes parks, neighborhood centers, all our sports and program activities. Solid waste services are suspended for tomorrow. Anything not collected will be picked up on the next regularly scheduled collection day. Full collection service should resume on Friday. Right now, if you have debris at the curb, I encourage you to tie it up or bag it and bundle it so it doesn't end up in the storm drains and creating localized flooding in that fashion. After the storm, remember to be cautious about moving debris. There could be down power lines or other hazards. So when you do clean debris, bag it, bundle it, and don't place it in the roadway. Parking garages for residents that are looking to move their vehicles to a covered location. We have waived fees in 4 of our parking garages downtown, so that'll be Central, Jefferson, Orange County Administration, and the Downtown Library. And this is for passenger vehicles only. There will be height restrictions, and the cars need to be removed by 12 p.m. on Friday, dependent on the weather. Water usage, we have had a lot of rain this week and last week, so we continue to have a high water table, and I urge residents to limit their water usage to the extent that they can. I don't think you need to irrigate your yard right now. You certainly don't need to wash your car, so maybe save your laundry for a couple more days. That helps to not put as much stress on our wastewater system during the next 48 hours. Our citizen information line will go live at 6 p.m. tonight. If you have something that you need to report in terms of damages, downed trees, traffic light issues, that's 407-246-HELP, 407-246-HELP. You can also stay informed by visiting orlando.gov/Nicole or following City of Orlando on Facebook or Twitter. And lastly, as we continue our preparations, let's continue to showcase our city's compassion by checking in on your neighbors, especially our older residents and our residents with special needs, to just make sure if they need any additional assistance. And I know after the storm, we'll do what we always do best. We'll be resilient, and we'll come together and help each other to recover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Scott Howard, Orange County Public Schools. I'm the Chief Communications Officer. Today was a regularly Wednesday dismissal day. That was an early day for our students. They are, or at least the majority of them, are on their way home from school right now. We expect every bus to be back in the bus barn by 6 p.m. this evening. Our school sites will not have any extracurricular activities today or any extended day programs on site. Transportation Services, as I said, expects everyone to be back in by 6 p.m. There will not be any school for students on Thursday or Friday, and while school and district facilities will remain closed on Friday, all 12-month employees will return to work in order to check out the school and any damage assessments to the schools. All FHSAA football playoff games have been rescheduled for Saturday, November 12th. They were originally supposed to be played on Friday. Pending a damage assessment that will be conducted on Friday, and any repairs or power outages that may exist in our schools, we are planning for employees, or want our employees and parents to plan on students returning on Monday, November 14th. And lastly, on behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Maria Vasquez, and our school board, we hope all of our employees and students, along with their families, stay safe throughout the storm. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sally Thielen with Duke Energy. I'm a spokesperson here today. Just wanted to give you an update on our situation. We've got 5,000 resources that have mobilized to this area. Many of them came from Duke Energy service territories in the Midwest, including Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, as well as our North and South Carolinas area. We've got about 4 staging sites set up and operating already with trucks coming in. We have folks that have a staging location down at Ritchie Brothers in Davenport. We also have the Renninger's auction site and Mount Dora, as well as the Villages and the DeLand Airport. So all of those are up, operating, and will be ready to dispatch crews as soon as the storm passes and it's safe for our crews to be out there. Certainly, we're 6 weeks past, when we were here talking the last time about Hurricane Ian. It's critical to recall that with high winds, and we've heard what Mayor Deming said at this point is forecast with 35 mile an hour and above. That does not allow us to get our bucket trucks up in the air. Anything over 30 miles per hour is not safe for us to be operating them. So we want to just make sure customers and certainly everyone understands that we're not hesitating to be out there. It's just not safe for us to get the buckets up. As soon as conditions are good enough to get out there, we'll get ahead and get after it as soon as that is possible. I would also like to say that Mayor Dyer mentioned checking on neighbors and elderly folks that might have special needs, and we stress that as well at Duke Energy to have a plan, make sure that your folks that may be in a vulnerable situation are safe. So we'd like to reiterate that as well as having a safety kit, which I would imagine everybody down here is kind of prepared with that. In Hurricane Ian, we had a lot of successes with our self-healing equipment that operated, restoring about 160,000 outages, routing power around where we were having an issue in the field, but it saved 3.3 million hours of customers out. So, we've been doing a lot of grid investment here in the state, and certainly Ian was a test for us to see how that infrastructure is performing. And then again, just to reiterate the generator safety, if you're going to use a generator, make sure that it's being installed and operated correctly according to the operator's manual, or ideally installed by a licensed electrician. We want to make sure that our line crews and certainly personnel, customers that would use that, stay safe in the field. So certainly we hope that this storm isn't as bad as it could be, but we appreciate everyone's patience and understanding as we'll get out there to work on power outages as soon as we can. I'd like to introduce Janice Osani with OUC.
Thank you, Sally. I'm Janice Osani with OUC, the reliable one. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and New Products. OUC is preparing for Hurricane Nicole's potential impacts to our service area, and we are ready to respond. We had the foresight to pre-order supplies such as wooden poles, pole-mounted transformers, cables, overhead wire last fall when supply chain issues became evident. OUC will use our own resources to respond to this storm, any related outages or issues that we have. OUC crews consist of more than 200 resources that are made up of line technicians, tree trimmers, safety technicians, and water trouble technicians. They will be in the field restoring power and responding to any water issues until it is safe to do so. Then they will return to the field in the morning once the winds subside. If additional resources are needed beyond our OUC resources, we will enact our mutual aid partners and direct them to Central Florida. Rest assured that OUC prepares for storms all year long. We are strengthening our electric and water infrastructure and improving upon our outage management system. The safety of our customers, employees, and community is our #1 priority. So we'd like to remind you to please stay away from any power lines that have fallen or are sagging. Consider all power lines, as well as trees, limbs, and anything else in contact with them, as energized and dangerous. Report any power line hazards to OUC at 407-423-9018 or contact your local emergency services. We also ask that our customers keep in mind that with the rain, flooding can create a unique and dangerous situation for us to restore power. Floodwaters could be energized by downed power lines or other electrical equipment, so please stay away to keep you from serious shock. It's imperative to stay away from pooled water that may be impacted, and also to use generators safely. Never run them enclosed or in a space that's indoors. Always place them at least 20 feet from your home and never in an attached garage. Never also please plug them into a power plug that's connected to your home, because it could endanger people who are trying to restore power. Customers can register for outage alerts in English or Spanish by texting REG to 69682, or they can go to my.ouc.com to update their contact information. As always, tips and more information is available at ouc.com/stormcenter, including our outage map where we have the most current outage numbers. Thank you and stay safe. I will turn this back to Mayor Demings.
Okay. All right. Thank you. At this time, we'll open it up for any questions that you may have. Are there any questions?
Tengo una pregunta por acá en español. Mayor Demings, in Spanish, please.
Okay.
Estamos en vivo para Telemundo, nuestras comunidades hispanas. Quisiéramos saber qué plan distinto tienen para esta tormenta, considerando lo que ocurrió hace 6 semanas con el huracán Ian, que muchas comunidades que no eran consideradas inundables se inundaron. ¿Algún plan distinto para esta tormenta?
So we're live on Telemundo, and the question is there a different plan from Hurricane Ian, considering the flooding that has happened? Is there any different plan for Storm Nicole?
Okay, our plans are always flexible based upon the actual storms that we are dealing with.
Nuestros planes son flexibles basados en las diferentes tormentas con las que estemos enfrentando.
So the track of the storm is taken into consideration, and we plan around that.
La trayectoria de la tormenta se toma en consideración y hacemos nuestros planes alrededor de eso.
We base our plans upon how much rainfall is anticipated.
Basamos nuestros planes también en la cantidad de lluvia que vamos a recibir.
And then we also base our plans upon the potential wind damage.
Y además basamos nuestros planes en el posible daño que puedan causar los vientos.
And so there are some similarities in terms of our response to any type of a major storm.
Siempre habrán similitudes en relación a nuestra respuesta ante cualquier tormenta.
Fortunately, depending upon the track of the storm, different areas of the county may be impacted differently.
Afortunadamente, y dependiendo de la trayectoria de la tormenta, diferentes áreas del condado serán impactadas.
But what we have consistently done, where we know that we have water bodies that are already at high water marks, we are making provisions to lower those water bodies.
Lo que sí hemos hecho con consistencia es donde conocemos que hay cuerpos de agua con niveles altos, hemos hecho los esfuerzos para bajar esos niveles.
That is a process that is done in coordination and through the authority of our different water management districts.
Eso es un proceso que se hace en concierto con las diferentes autoridades de manejo de agua aquí en esta jurisdicción.
The water management districts authorize a certain amount of water to be pumped from different water bodies.
Las autoridades de manejo de agua tienen ciertos niveles de agua que se pueden empujar o pompear a otro de los lagos.
And so based upon each storm, that could change.
Basado en las diferentes tormentas, eso pudiera cambiar.
And for this particular storm, there are certain areas where the water management districts are prohibiting the pumping of water.
Para esta particular tormenta, las autoridades de manejo de agua han prohibido el bombeo de aguas a ciertas áreas.
And that is based upon the current water levels.
Y eso se basa en los niveles actuales de agua.
Se descarta órdenes de evacuación en ciertas comunidades.
Do you foresee issuing any evacuation orders for certain communities?
At this time, there are no mandatory evacuation orders that will be issued.
En este momento no tenemos ninguna orden de evacuación mandatoria.
Given the most recent updates by the National Weather Service, we should not see the type of flooding that we saw with Ian.
Basado en los últimos pronósticos del Servicio Nacional de Meteorología, no debemos ver el nivel de inundación que experimentamos durante el huracán Ian.
Okay. All right, one more from Steve Hudak.
This might be a question for Diana Almodovar.
Come on up, Diana.
It has to do with public works, and we saw quite a bit of flooding with Orla Vista, West Side Manor, the Rock Road area, the Oak Ridge Road area, and you might be fairly still saturated. So, have we been pumping? And what would your advice be to folks who live in those areas that I just mentioned?
Well, as soon as we found out that there was a storm brewing, and we started pumping down the Orla Vista, West San Manor area in order to make room for any rain event forthcoming. So we are continuously pumping and in that area. Also, we're pumping in other areas of concern, like Bunny Brook area, and we have Shadow Bay area. We have several areas that were very highly impacted during Ian, and we are pumping on those areas that we are allowed to. And those are the areas that we're addressing at this point.
Let me just follow up on that. In regard to things the mayor said as well. Has the South Florida Water Management District prohibited any pumping into Shingle Creek from Ola Vista or Westside Manor, if you know?
Well, there are some certain areas that they are advising us not to pump. If the emergency comes that we need to pump, we would have to go back to the Water Management District and ask permission, fill out some paperwork in order to get permission from them. At this point, they are not allowing us because the downstream water levels are still high. But we will continue to coordinate with both water management districts.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, this will conclude the press event. Let me just say to all of our community partners, thank you for your participation. We anticipate doing another press event tomorrow. Right now, it's tentatively planned for 3 p.m. We hope and pray that everyone is safe throughout the night. As a reminder, that is a period of time that we expect to have the most significant winds and rain, although it'll be raining likely most of tomorrow. Also remind you that the National Weather Service has indicated that we could experience overnight some tornadic activity as well. So we plan for the worst in this situation, but we are certainly hoping for the best. Thank you all very much.